a discussion about otters. This is one of the animals that I really never thought I'd be working with. When I started with this job years ago, we work with a lot of different agencies, as Mike indicated. None of these studies are done in a vacuum, and it's essential that we have a lot of collaborators going forward. Mike indicated we use animals as biomonitors, and otters are very important because they represent the apex predator of our wetland systems. So they will bioaccumulate and are susceptible to many types of diseases. The unique thing about otters is that they're a mustelid, so they can be infected by canine, feline, and otter diseases. So we talked about the fact that most of Cook County is developed. Mike mentioned that only 11% is Forest Preserve District. We started out by seeing various signs of otters in various places. This is below the dam at Bussey Woods. You can see the tracks, they're very diagnostic. Mike talked about doing the aerial surveys. During the aerial surveys, the tracks are so diagnostic you can actually tell them from the air. So this is a situation where the water below the dam froze up. There was one small area that was still open, and the otters were coming in and just nailing all the fish. So this shows the otters going up the slope next to the dam and then sliding down, and then going up and sliding down and going up and sliding down. And I hate to be anthropomorphic about an animal, but if an animal could have fun, this is the animal that has fun. Here's another really good example of that same behavior. So here's where the animals are going up the slope, and here's where they're sliding down. They go up, and they go down, and just do it again and again and again. It doesn't serve a real biologic purpose. It seems that you burn off a lot of energy for no good reason. So here's that small area that I talked about below the dam. They were coming in, and this is actually blood on the ice and the snow. So we were trying to trap the otters so that we could put transmitters in them, and we were setting the traps, but we have to man the traps while they're out there. We can't leave it because there's so much human activity in the area. So the ice looked like there was a slaughter on the ice. There was blood, there was fish scales and fish heads everywhere. I was sitting there waiting for the otters to come in, hopefully to get into the traps. And here come the coyotes. The coyotes came out on the ice, and they systematically cleaned the whole ice column clean. They were even licking the blood off the ice. And when they got done, you could barely tell that anything had even occurred out there. So this is an example. This was taken a few weeks ago, our last snow. This shows one of our den sites. Another example of a sign that the otters are there. I'm sorry, this is really bad. I can't control this. One of the better ways of finding otters is to find latrine sites. They like to use communal latrines. They like to advertise to all the other otters in the area that they're there. They defecate a large pile of slime with, these are fish bones and scales in it, but you get a real good idea of what the otter is eating by checking these places out. This is actually a beaver lodge that was down by Lockport Prairie. One of our otters ended up going down there. And the otter is the only animal that we have that's an effective predator on beavers in our area. Beavers in the wilderness, in the Yellowstone Basin or something like that, can be predated by grizzly bears or timber wolves when they go up to harvest trees, but the river otter is the only one in our area that's capable of doing it. And then we start getting reports, and most of the images that you're going to see are being taken by Jeff Nelson. He's one of the medical doctors that we work with. He's a vector-borne disease specialist who loves to take pictures, and these are some truly amazing pictures. So we started getting images of otters, and we went out to try and capture them. And in one case, we ended up with 3 otters at a location for almost 3 months, and they were very visible, and everyone got a really great chance to see them. And then we went in after him. This one actually has a bullfrog tadpole in his mouth. That one's got a carp. That's a bullhead. And that one has the remains of a gosling. It actually took a gosling. This one has a frog. And there's the three amigos all together. It's very rare that you're actually able to visually see these guys with this kind of regularity and this kind of time period. Typically in the past when we've had otter sightings, it would be just a glimpse, a squeak. They have a behavior where they'll stick their head up, they'll look at you, squeak, and then they disappear, and all you see is a trail of bubbles leading away. So we went in and tried to capture otters. We were working with the folks from APHIS as well as Max McGraw, trying to get this study going. Here's the three there. We went out and looked for the animals, looked for signs, for places to put traps, and eventually we were successful. There's two ways of catching an otter. You either have to use a foothold trap or you have to use a cage trap. The problems with a cage trap is that typically when an otter gets into it, they get so upset that they'll break all their canines off. Footholds get a really bad rap, but if used properly, they do not hurt the animal. The animals that were reintroduced in Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Ohio, thousands and thousands of otters were brought up from Louisiana and released throughout the Midwest. They were all caught with foothold traps. It doesn't make sense to use a technique that would hurt or destroy the very thing we're trying to study. We partnered with the Brookfield Zoo, and they took our otters in and put transmitters inside of them. Otters don't have necks, so that we cannot put a collar around their neck the way Mike showed you with the deer. This is an implantable transmitter that's sterilized, and it's inserted into the abdomen of the animal. It just free floats in the abdomen and sends out a signal. And that's how we're able to follow the animal. So here's a radiograph of the transmitter inside the animal. The day that this happened, every veterinarian, every resident, every student, every tech at the Brookfield Zoo was in the surgical suite because everybody wanted in on the otter. It was kind of funny, some of the residents and students were looking at the radiograph and they said, oh my gosh, there's a broken bone. Nobody noticed that. They didn't understand what a baculum was in the animal. So it's a learning experience for all of them. Brookfield Zoo also has the capability of doing CAT scans, and they CAT scan our otters. It allows us to get an in-depth look of the health of the animal. You can tell bone density, you can tell growth rate, you can tell the presence of parasites in the lungs, and we can also tell the reproductive status of the animal. So this animal was a female, and we could tell that there were no embryos in the uterus. But we could also tell that this animal had not ovulated. This is the ovary here. There's no corpus luteum present on the ovary. So this is a fantastic service that we're able to tap into, and once again, it shows the collaborative effect of this project. So then after a short recovery period, initially when these things first got started, they wanted to hang on to otters for weeks at a time to allow the surgical wound to heal. Now most projects maintain the otter for 2 to 4 hours before it's released. It's far more damaging to hang on to an otter than to just release it into the wild. They have, if you look at a review of otter projects throughout North America, it's a near 100% recovery rate from this surgery. They are fabulous animals to work with, and they're very, very resilient. So here's an animal that is being released after the surgery from the Brookfield Zoo. And he's going in the water, and there he goes. And I have a video here that showed, whoops. Let's try this again. There's a reason why it's in slow motion, you'll see. So that's the typical mustelid run. It's kind of an undulating run that's very diagnostic. Back in the pond he goes. And the guy with the camera with the waders on is Jeff Nelson. That's the physician we work with. Takes the pictures. So if you look at the pond there, that's an island out in the background. I'm going to show you another slide that shows movements under the ice in this same location. So remember that location. So the first otter was caught by APHIS down in the Calumet region. This is Sand Ridge Nature Center. The animal was living in this pond right here, and we were able to identify 2 den sites. One of the unknowns about otters is that initially we did not think otters could survive in our area because of water quality. We thought that there would be, in the springtime, there would be too much petrochemical load going into the water, and it would destroy the ability of the animals to thermoregulate. This animal stayed in that pond at Sand Ridge for months and months and months. The first thing it did is it ate all of the big fish, then it ate the clams, then it ate the crayfish, then it ate the little fish, and it got down to the point where all it was eating was giant water beetles, which is something we had no idea about. And then finally it took off. So here's Sand Ridge. It dumped in the Little Calumet and the Grand Calumet, dumped in the Des Plaines River, and in the course of one day it got out to here, and then it got out to here. This is Palos right here. This is black partridge, and it went as far south as Lamont Prairie, Romeoville Prairie down here, and it found a wetland complex. It was a male. It found about 4 females down in that area, and it would spend a week or 2 there, and then it would come back up to Lamont.